Length measurement. Measurement is loosely defined as the length, amount, or size of something. Long ago, the idea of a universal measuring system didn't exist. One of the most useful measurements would be length. Examples of length include the millimeter, the foot, the yard, and the kilometer. Knowing how to measure length was quite useful for surveying land for property right purposes. Knowing the length of the land gave you the precise units needed to price accordingly. Ancient Egypt used the cubit as a standard length of measurement. It is defined by the length of the pharaoh's forearm, as measured from the tip of his forefinger to the middle of his elbow. The Egyptian phrase for a surveyor was a rope stretcher, and surveying was known as stretching a rope. Their most basic tools were the plumb bob, the cubic rod for short measurements, and the calibrated rope of 100 cubits for longer measurements. There are multiple examples throughout history of length measurements based on various body parts. About 950 years ago, the width of a person's thumb was considered an inch. In many languages, the word for thumb and inch are the same or very close. A person's foot was used to measure feet. A yard was the length from the tip of a king's nose to the end of his fingertips. One hand is measured across the widest part of the palm, including a closed thumb. It is still used to measure the height of horses. Today, one hand equals 4 inches, or 101.6 millimeters. There are 2 parts to every measurement: the actual measurement taken and the standard that this measurement is matched up against. Without this standard, the measurement taken has no point of reference, and the chance of the measurement being completely incorrect increases dramatically. In France before 1790, each region had its own measure, which could also have been a different value according to its geographical area. After years of research, the meter definition was enacted on April 7, 1795, as 10 millionth part of the median arc between the North Pole and the equator. To find this universal measurement of a meter, French scientists struggled through 7 years of trials and tribulations during the French Revolution. In order to find 1/10,000,000th of a quarter of the Earth's meridian, they had to physically measure at least part of it. The repeating circle was used to measure the median arc from Dunkirk to Barcelona by Jean-Baptiste Delambre and Pierre Machin. In America, the 1904 Great Baltimore Fire destroyed over 1,500 downtown buildings. Although many localities sent help, many out-of-town units were unable to assist because their hoses could not connect to Baltimore fire hydrants. 1 year after the Baltimore Fire, national standards were created in the United States. The International System of Units, universally abbreviated SI, is a modern metric system of measurement. This system follows a concept that goes back to the Scottish physicist James Clerk Maxwell. At this time, a logic-sound foundation of mathematics was not yet available. He played a major role in extending the metric system to include electrical units. He also theorized that length could be measured with light. Most countries in the world measure distance using the meter unit of distance. The United States, Myanmar, and Liberia's unit of measure is the foot. The metric system is based on the powers of 10. We have 10 fingers and 10 toes. Thus, it is intuitively a good base system of measurement. Henry Ford put into practice techniques of mass production that would revolutionize American industry, including the use of large production plants, standardized interchangeable parts, and the moving assembly line. In 1983, the meter received its modern definition. The meter is defined as the length of the path traveled by light in a vacuum during a time interval of 1 to 299,792,458 of a second. Measurements provide structure and remove the chaos that would result without any method of understanding the world around us. For example, being able to measure the distance between 2 points on a map is very important. It allows you to work out what distance is in real life and will give you a good idea of how long your journey will take. All the science and engineering that goes into designing and building structures is based on measurements. From the Great Pyramids to NASA's rockets, measurement allows us to build our modern world.